Welcome to this exposure events instructional video. In this video, we'll learn how to set registration for an event. We offer free registration, meaning we don't charge for anything and you only pay your payment merchant fees for, say, PayPal or Stripe. Let's log into our director's account. I have one event, that's event 1. I'm going to click on the name and I'm going to add another division to this event. So hit divisions in the submenu, plus divisions. I'll call this one 17. Go back to divisions and I'm going to hit prices in the submenu. I'm going to add a price to this event, so hit plus price top right. And I have the options for event fee, college coaches packets, and other. I'm going to select other and call this a t-shirt fee. Have this one be $25. Description, event t-shirt. And then I have an activation date range. Leave blank if you want this to be always active. If you have a certain day and time where you want registration and payments to be active, where they can pay only during certain days of the week, for example, they can only pay the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before the actual event, you can set that date range on there so that would appear only during those days. I'm going to hit save, go back to prices by using my breadcrumbs, and I'm going to add another event price. Call this entry fee. I want this one to be $1 for test purposes. And I want this to be for the 15th division. We have a display option. This will let you choose where you want the payments to be displayed, if you want it to be on registration page only, on payment page only, or on both pages by selecting all pages. I'm going to leave it on all pages. Since it's for the 15 divisions only, I'm going to deselect the 16s and 17 divisions down here in the division box, and I'm going to hit save. So that will only appear on the 15 divisions, and that this won't be an option for the 16s and 17s. Now I'm going to show you how to copy over the divisions and prices to a new event. I'm going to go back to events, hit plus event, and what this does, if you have multiple events they're all going to have the same division and prices, you can go to your first event and copy the divisions, prices, and venues to your new events. So I'm in my first event. Sorry, I had to create my second event first. Let's call this one event 2. Give this a start and end date. Fill out the basic information that it requires. Oops. Okay. And a season is required. Hit save. I'll go back to my events, go into event 1, divisions. I'm going to hit the copy button at the top right next to plus division. I'll make sure prices and venues are checked, and I'm going to copy this over by hitting copy to, and I'm selecting event 2 and hit save. Let's go back to our events and go into event 2. As you can see, our divisions have been copied over. If you go into our prices have been copied over as well. I want to edit the entry fee price for this, so I'm going to go into it by clicking it. I'm going to deselect the 15s, select the 17s, and I'm going to make this $1 and hit save. You can also copy a whole entire event into a new event, and then it will copy the registration, the divisions, and prices. So go to events, go into event 1. I'm going to copy this over to a new event by hitting copy at the top right. So everything's been filled out. I just got to select the start and end date. I'm going to name this one event 3. Everything else is already filled out. Hit save. And we're under event 3 right now. You can tell by looking at your breadcrumbs. Go into divisions, and you can see our divisions have been added. Our prices have been added as well. Let's talk about registration. You have 2 ways to setting this up. If all your events are going to be the same or mostly the same when it comes to registration, you can do this under global settings. Global settings does not update divisions and prices across all events, but you can set it up for whenever you have a new event. You don't have to set up the registration. It's already there for you. And global settings is setting in the menu. Down the registration tab right here, and this is where you would fill that information out. We also have payments as well. If you're going to have one payment provider for all your events, you can set your payment provider under the global settings, and that will be set up for you. For event settings, that would be located under the event. So you hit Events. Let's go to Event 2, Settings of the submenu, Registration tab. It's going to look the same as global settings, but this is where you fill out per event. So if it's going to be semi-different, but everything's the same, but you have an extra field you wanted to add to this event specifically, you can go into the event settings under registration and add that extra tab, or get rid of and edit whatever you need to edit and save it, and that'll be just for this event. Let's talk about adding a payment provider. To add a payment provider, you would have to go to Settings in the main menu, and then Payment Providers in the sub menu. I have 2 here already. Hit Plus Payment Provider at the top right, and this is the options that we are integrated with. We have Authorization Net, Stripe, PayPal Pro, PayPal Standard, USA ePay, iTransit, SecureNet, and Square. I'm going to select Stripe and hit Next. The name is required. It can be whatever you want to name it. If you have multiple Stripe accounts, you can name it Stripe 1, Stripe 2, or if it's somebody else's Stripe account or account they're using, you can name it after them so you know. There's test keys, public keys, all that. You would have to fill that information out. Test mode on here. This is if you're testing out registration and payments. Note, please uncheck this when teams are registering, because if they pay, it won't actually, the transaction won't actually pay. It will say they have, but you've never been paid at all. So let's go back into our event settings. Event 2, settings. Go to Payments tab, and I'm going to add this payment provider to my event. So I have Stripe. You can also paste your external website here and under registration if you're using your own payment or registration on your page. We have a transaction fee. Each payment provider has a transaction rate, percentage, and fee. You can add this on so when the teams are paying for it, they can be charged that as well. If you want to know what those merchant fees are, you can go on to our support portal. As you can see, Stripe is going to be 2.9% with the 30-cent transaction. So just add that on to here. So it's 2.9 and then 30 cents. We have terms and conditions. We also have policies here, and you can hide discounts on this part as well. So if you have terms and conditions for the event and you want them to accept the terms, you'll click that. I'm just going to put test in here so you can see what that looks like. Hit save. The registration part right here, I want to enable registration. You can show restrictions. This is where teams can add in restrictions for themselves. Example, they can't play at a certain time. You can also type in your external website if you use registration on your site. Registration email, this is the email that all the registration and payments are going to go to. So I'm going to type in my email. Registration status, I'm going to leave this as active. You can also put waiting list and inactive. Account registration is for coaches that you want to have them upload rosters for the game or the event. You can make this optional, required, or none. I'm going to leave this as blank. And you have registration payment. This is optional, required, or none as well, where they're required to pay during registration. We have a start and time and end time with a start date and end date. This is when the registration window opened, where they can register for the event. So I'm just going to put in anytime on here. Maximum registrations. You can disable this or add them to a waiting list once you hit a certain amount. So let's say if we hit 10 teams, I want them to go to a waiting list. You also have a roster size, which tells you the minimum and max players the coaches can add. We have an edit team field. This is for the whole team. Select add down here, and you can see what we have on here already. We have home phone number, comments, logo, mobile phone, organizations, etc. So I'm going to select mobile phone on here. I'm going to put organization, and then I'm going to put on here the season. I want the mobile phone number and organization to be required. I'm going to also add a Twitter handle and have this one to be hidden. The edit player field is for the players. Let's add a few of those on here. As you can see, we have a little bit more options to choose from than the team. Let's just select birthday, address, and then let's put on here SAT scores. I want to hide the SAT scores, make the birthday and address required. Add team fields and add player fields. These are 4 additional fields on here that you want to add, or custom, basically custom fields. An example would be t-shirts, or if you want to know if the players are right-handed or left-handed, you can have that option on there. I'm going to add one on here for the player. Let's just put t-shirt. We have an example down here as well for the values. And if you need to know more information about certain things, click on the little blue eye boxes and that'll just give you a better description. I'm going to have this required and hit save. We also have emails. So whenever a team registers or pay, an email will be sent out. If you want additional people to be on those emails or receive them, you can actually go to emails up here in the submenu. So you can see a registration, event, payments as well. Click on one of those. Let's go into registration. You can add additional email addresses in here, and then you can edit the body as well so you can have it say whatever you want to say. What that email would look like would be this. Registration confirmation. You officially registered for the event, you participant, you have the division name, etc. And then payment confirmation will look like this. Payment was successfully received. You have the ID, the total, description, etc. Let's go into adding a discount for the event. So go to settings in the main menu. Go to discounts right here, the submenu. Let's add a discount for this. Let's call this 2018. I want the code to be, let's just put 2018. And I want it to be for other. And you can have a dollar amount or a percentage. I'm just going to put $24 because it's going to be for the t-shirt. And I want this to be used maximum of 4 times. You can also have an expiration date as well. So if you want this expired by a certain date, you can do that. And you can make this active for all events, or you can deselect it where it's only active for certain events. So I'm going to leave that as active. I'm going to go back into my event, event 2, prices in the submenu, discounts, and I'm going to add this discount to this event. As you can see, I have 3 options. I'm going to hit 2018 and save. Let's go to our event website. Event 2, event details, and hit website. And this is what the website will look like. Let's go on registration page. And this is what it's going to look like. You can see what's required and what's not required. I had accept terms down here. I have the terms and conditions are in this box. You can see it says test. Have comments and logo and website. I want these 3 to be hidden. So what you would do is go back into your event settings, registration. Let's add those fields. I want it to be logo, website, and what was the other one I decided? In comments. I'm going to hide those. Hit save. Refresh this page. And they're now gone. So let's fill this out. Let's do 15. Call this test 1. Add this information in here that's required. Accept the terms and conditions, and you have the option to pay as well. So I'm going to click that. You can see. Note there's an additional 2.9% and a 30 cents transaction or convenience fee. That's your transaction fee. Select your price. Since it's 15, I only have the one price, and you can select a discount code. I don't have one for this. Let's fill out this information right here. Accept terms and register. All right, it was successful. Let's go back into our payments by going to our payment section here, and let's do the other fee, which is the t-shirt fee. Discount code was 2018. We have $24 off that will be applied to this payment, the subtotal. Let's see, let's add the name. It's going to be the same thing. You have the credit card information, the billing address, etc. But this is what it will look like when you're adding a discount. We also have an event widget for this. So you go into our event details page, go to widgets in the top right, down to registration. You can put the registration on your page by typing in this code to your website. Hit preview, and this is what it's going to look like. So they can register and pay on your page and not have to go to the exposure website. Let's go into our teams so you can see those teams that registered. We have the one team, one player active, and they paid $1.33. Let's add another team in here so you can see the difference. Go back to our teams. You can see we have two teams on here. This one right here, it has not paid yet, team 2. You can actually request payments by highlighting them and hitting actions. You can put request payment and can select the amounts that you want. You can also mark them as paid as well if they have paid you by hitting yes or no. If you go into the team, you can mark them as paid down here too by checking the box and hitting save. Go into payments. So we have teams, run the team information and hit payments in the submenu. You can add a payment to this team. Hit entry fee. You can add a discount code, internal note. Let's say they paid by check. You can also use the credit card information in here as well. So if you have a credit card, you can check that and type it in and pay for them. Go to that uncheck. Type this information in here. Hit save. And say that you have a team that messaged you saying that they deleted the email address, the confirmation for payment. You can actually go into the payment. So if you go into, let's go to the very beginning, divisions, go prices, payments, or teams, prices, payments. Go into the actual payment, entry fee. You can send receipt by clicking receipt at the bottom and send it to the email they want. You can also refund them as well by checking the refund button if you have in fact refunded them. That way you know you have in the system as well by checking that box. All right, and let's talk about sanction payments. Sanction payments or season payments is the sanction fee they pay the beginning. We have that new feature added as well. So let's go into events, seasons, select the season name. You can add your prices here by hitting plus price. It's going to look similar to the event prices on here. And then if you go to payments, you can see the payments that have been made. You can also delete those if you need to. So we have one team that paid. There's a transaction ID. You can see the date it was created as well. And that will be for the sanction payments. They would pay this when they log into their coach's account. In order for them to pay this, they can leave the team and they can have the option to pay that if you have it under the event. And that's going to be all for our video. We do have some support portal articles that have more detailed step-by-step instructions for this, and we also have a 24-hour chat. And that's all. Thank you for watching.